entrepreneur, businessman, author, podcaster, Tom Vecchia of the Armchair MBA sits down with ThomasBerrymanTV.
Let's go.
Hey, yeah. How are you, man?
I'm well, man. Nice to see you, fellow Thomas.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good, strong name. We got Tom Vecchia from the Armchair MBA on, and I'm excited to have you on, man.
It's my pleasure.
Do you mind starting off, I guess, talking about where you come from and where you grew up, leading up to
Absolutely.
your first job?
Absolutely. So my name's Tom Vecchia. I'm the founder and president of X Factor Media. And part of what we do is we do podcasting. And we have some great podcasts, the Armchair MBA, New Theory podcast, and also Mobsters Inc., which we just acquired and rolling out. So my family came from Italy in 1959. I was born in 1975. Getting a little older now. Oops, my cats. Get a little older now. And my first job was I worked full time by going to college full time. I wanted to work at this certain company, big pharmaceutical company. So I did a program where I worked half day in school and half day work study. But typically those are for people that are not going to go to university. But what I did was I studied so hard the previous years so I could do both. I really wanted to work there, but knew I was going to go to college too. So then I decided to work full time and go to school full time. So it was pretty crazy, but I was able to accomplish that by working my first job at a pharmaceutical company in basically the mailroom, and then went full time to university 4 years. And it was pretty hectic, but I was able to do it.
Man, that's crazy. Like working full time and going to uni, fitting all that in. And what was it like working in that industry, the pharmaceutical side of things?
It was good and it was fair. They helped pay for the schooling, which was good. My mother paid, and then they helped pay the rest. So I didn't pay for any of my education, which was good, out of pocket. Also, I had different varying degrees of jobs, like whether it was in manufacturing or whatever it was. So I loved it. I loved it. I knew I wanted to work in the pharmaceutical space. I knew I loved the company that I worked for. I missed out on a lot of the short trips with the mates, as you guys say in Australia. Everybody partying at college, kind of who joined a fraternity, who went here and there. I'm not singing the blues. I'm just saying I gave up a lot. I kind of punted my 20s so I could have a little bit more flexibility later on in life.
Man, that's cool. So it was worth it. And how did you come about writing your first book as well?
Yeah, so I wrote a sales book called the X Factor Selling System, and I was in corporate, and I managed many teams, from pharmaceuticals to managers then I got into the device, which was like big money, where you can make, my top rep, I think, made like $450 that year. And I just noticed, like, on the device side, why was somebody making $450 and why was somebody making $110? In pharmaceuticals, why was somebody making $170 and somebody making $90? And I kind of teased out what those attributes were, and I put them in a book.
Wow. So that was like taking off real people and just, I guess, analyzing them, who was good at what.
I came down to the 4P principle. It's not about me, the salesperson. It's about you and how you're wired, right? So people are motivated by one of four things: people, which are relationships; product, which is status; price, which is financial; and process, which is how to get things done. As you could tell, I'm not a process-centric person. I was late for the interview, and I apologize, Thomas. I don't keep track of things, right? Yeah. I'm very people-centric. I was talking to somebody on the chat, talking to people in the chats, having somebody on the show, and that's kind of like my core, right? So if you want to sell to me, build a relationship to build my trust, and I'll probably be more likely to buy from you. Versus somebody works maybe at a U.S. Postal Service or for the government, when you approach them, you want to sell them process-centric and go through step by step by step. They don't want to hear about your kids. They just want to hear that get things done. So learn what motivates them, and it makes it easier to influence.
Wow, that's awesome. I haven't heard those ones before. What advice did you give to someone who wants to write their first book like you did? And
just do it. Just do it. I had a ghostwriter. She was a co-author. I gave her credit. paid her and gave her credit. Get a ghostwriter. Go on Upwork. You can find it pretty easily. You're probably looking at a $5,000 ticket, but you might as well do it, because you know what? When people talk about me, the first thing they say is, "Oh, is that the guy who wrote the book?"
Yeah.
So it helps good for personal branding, and it helps in business as well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. How did that change your life after that? Like, I've seen that book was pretty successful.
It didn't,
Oh,
and it cost me a lot of money. But when I realized it was strictly a marketing tool, that's when I was able to leverage. So, for example, we were pitching a 14-unit salon to get their marketing, and we were competing against a much bigger firm, much more established firm, and the pricing was similar. And I was going through my bag, through the price, like when you actually use paper, going through my bag, and I was lucky to be on the front cover of Social Life magazine. And then I also had the book. And I'm like, well, what's that? Oh, when we were on front cover of Social, I'm not thinking anything of it. Yeah. And then I gave him my book. So it's my book. It's a sales book. He goes, oh, you wrote a book? I'm like, yeah. And that became the topic of conversation. So I guess, his confidence in me increased exponentially, because he thought me as an authority and as a leader because I wrote the book, and we landed that contract. So we definitely leveraged the book over the years to get that return on the investment. So it worked out, but I made it affect my life. It didn't just boom happen like that, you know?
yeah, that's awesome. And I'm just so like how it works in business. Do you get a like money off that every time it sells still now to this day?
Yeah. So I don't push the book as much. Books have a life cycle. You kind of launch, it grows, and then it matures, and then it declines. But it's like a hockey stick, not like a big hockey stick. But I probably sold about 2,500 units a second book, which is pretty good for a self-titled book. But I also would batch it, meaning, hey, Thomas, you want me to speak to your organization? You have 50 people, great. I'm not going to charge you a fee. Just buy 50 books, pay for the transportation. And it was a way to me to accelerate more book sales. Yeah. And I was able to do that. And that was way before COVID. So like, it was kind of easier to do at the time. So.
That's awesome. And how did you come about founding the New Theory magazine?
Yeah. So in 2015, I unfortunately lost my mother in 14, and I wanted to kind of do something new, and it's a little on the depressed side. So I was big on the millennial market, like Elite Daily sold out for like 50 million. So I started New Theory as like a voice for millennials. Even though I wasn't a millennial myself, I really wanted to market to millennials. And I started New Theory, which was Insider Magazine at the time. I later changed the name, on August 1st, my mother's birthday in 2015, as an homage to her, right? So with that being said, we published like 6 articles, and it got like 700 visits over the weekend, and we really didn't do anything. I'm like, wow, we got something here. And then we had an article go viral, why people don't go to our nightclubs, and it got like 330,000 visits the next month. I didn't know how to monetize it. I wasted that opportunity. I had the wrong people, and we had this big event, and the brand was huge, and I just totally screwed it up, right? Because I didn't know. But then I said, wait, we got something here. So we eventually rebranded A New Theory. And I had another incident where I almost went bankrupt as a company. So I had to let everybody go. So I'm like, crap, I got this asset here. What do I do? Well, people want to hear me talk to people and tease out information from them. Let me start a podcast. So New Theory Podcast was started to save the New Theory magazine, and it worked.
Wow, that's awesome. Who was your first guest person you ever talked to?
First ever, I think I had somebody on as like a favor.
Yeah.
But in the first year, we had some great guests. We had Jordan Belfort, which was pretty cool. We had Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you follow him. He's from the Jersey.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a legend.
I was watching him today.
Yeah, Perez Hilton. Later on, I had Al Sharpton on. A whole bunch of people. I'm pretty good at guest acquisition. So that hasn't been an issue for me. And then even with Armchair MBA, which is my current show now, it's some pretty notable names in the space. I have 2 superpowers. I'm really good at guest acquisition, and I'm really good with having a dialogue with somebody and getting a little more out from them than they usually don't want to give. That's all. Nothing else. I'm not. That's my wife. I'm good at nothing else. Those are the 2 things. And I'm a decent father. Those are the 2 things that I'm good at.
Yeah, I gathered that, man. I was like, man, you just kill it every time. And you always have like an awesome lineup as well. It's
Thank
like,
you.
man, you're obviously doing something really good there.
Well, Thomas, I love to be that guy, and I'll own this. I will
Yeah,
own this. I like to play above my rim. I love
yeah,
to not my rim, the rim.
yeah.
That did not sound good,
Yeah,
but I
I
like to
got you.
play. But all joking aside, I like to play above the rim,
Yeah,
and I like to punch up, not down. So I always try to be in circles that I'm around people that I'm uncomfortable with
yeah,
because they're that high status until
yeah,
they feel comfortable with, and then they want to elevate up again.
yeah. That's how I feel now talking to you. I was like, really nervous coming on.
Whoa! You got me blushing now, but that's very kind of you. Seriously.
Nah, it's true, man. So what drove you to like change it to the Armchair MBA, like that
So
branding, I
I
guess.
happen to have a shirt on because laundry day. So I had the New Theory podcast and it was doing well, but whenever I do like any mob stuff, it would do even better. And I interviewed John Panisi. He was a made guy at Lucchese's. We did a 9-part series, and it did pretty well. Did really well. So him and I hooked up. We had a good run. The NBA button man. I was the NBA, obviously. He was the wise guy. We had about a 100-show run. It kind of elevated my status in the community a little bit. We disbanded about a year ago, and then I started the Armchair MBA. And the Armchair MBA is actually becoming even more successful than the original podcast, which I would have never imagined. Thomas, I thought I was done. I didn't know what to do in the beginning. I was floundering. I was involved with all the drama. I was like a rudderless boat, but I finally found my bearings and I got the right team behind it, and we're
Yeah,
doing pretty well.
that's awesome. I seen you like a website for that as well, like with the merch and everything. Do you run all that yourself, or do you sort
Yeah,
of
so I
outsource it?
have a I have so this is interesting. I have a I don't know why this is blurry. I have a digital marketing agency, and interesting enough, you got to forgive me. It's going to bother me. I don't know why it's not focusing.
Yeah, it sort of just went.
It's all right. It gets rid of my wrinkles. So I have a digital marketing agency, right? And I'm an interesting guy, right? Where I'm like the plumber with the leaky pipe in this sense. I have a digital marketing agency, and even though I can go to my agency and say, do this, and this for me, I couldn't afford myself because we charge a lot of money, right? So we're a premium agency. So I don't want to kind of bring down the profitability of the agency by having my podcast nonsense be
Yeah,
involved. So for a while, I kind of separated the two. And I said, wait a second, why don't I use my agency to propel myself? I know this is obvious for everybody. Like, well, why didn't you use your designer? Why didn't you use your writer? Why didn't you use your website person? Because you know what? If they're doing work for me for free, they're not doing paid for somebody else. And
yeah,
that's a God honest truth. So then I believed in myself more, and now we're tapping more into our agency resources, and it's paying off.
yeah. That's awesome. So I guess it's important for you to have the right team around you as well.
Exactly.
What's been your favorite moment in your like journey setting this up? Like, like
Let me think. Recently, I was really excited to interview Salvo Arena, which was the son of Totorina. It just blew my mind being an Italian American, what his father did, who he was, and just to share the screen and talk to him it was mind blowing, to be honest with you.
yeah, so that'd be your top one so far.
Yeah, that and Pablo Escobar's wife was pretty dope too.
That was crazy, man.
Yeah, that was another one.
And what do you got plans like for growing? I guess where do you see yourself in the next 12 months?
I'd like at the bare minimum double the visibility of the channel at bare minimum. I want to double at the bare minimum, double the visibility of the channel at bare minimum. I want to kind of segment. I want Armchair MBA to kind of do more topics outside of organized crime that interest mostly men's interests.
Yep.
And then I want Mobsters Inc. to be the premier platform for anything organized crime. So we're still going to do organized crime, but I'm going to focus in when we launch Mobsters Inc. correctly. So we kind of have dueling brands that I want to blow out of the water.
Yeah, so it'll come under the one umbrella, but
That's the goal. Correct.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's your top 5 favorite movies of all time?
All mob movies pretty much. Well, no. Il Postino is an Italian movie. That's number 5. Beautiful movie. Number 4, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Number 3, another Italian movie, Cinema Paradiso. Oh man, I gotta give me 3 more instead of 2. Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Goodfellas and Godfather 2. And Godfather 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good choices.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, Goodfellas definitely like everyone's top 5.
Correct. I don't know why this is so blurry. It's weird. Blurry all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's coming like in and out.
Okay, well, I hope you guys don't mind. I'll be a little blurry. Like I said, it covers my wrinkles.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Still still make out who I'm talking to. Who do you look up to? Like who inspires you?
I like to follow people that I like to emulate the best I can. So I would say Ray Dalio is one. He's an Italian American investor, Bridgewater Capital, worth like $16 billion. I like Mark Cuban. He's another one that I follow. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. He does respond to me. He just hasn't committed yet. I'm just trying to think who else are some of the people that I look up to. Patrick Bet-David, I think he's doing a fantastic job in business and with his podcast. And those are some of the people that I like to emulate.
Yeah, I love watching Patrick Bet-David's videos as well. He's got some pretty
I'm trying to get him on as well. A buddy of mine works for him.
Wow.
And I tease him a little bit. I send it over to Patrick and through him. And I interviewed more inducted members in the mob than Patrick did. I think he's at 6. I'm at 8. So it's kind of pretty cool that we did that.
That's pretty cool. I reckon you'll get him, man. You've got the gift.
I'm trying.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I started watching his through the business stuff he was doing, and that was pretty cool. I love watching that stuff as well.
He in that professional like path for the podcast is where I want to land.
Yeah, and are you like? Do you see yourself? I guess building this up to a point where, like, he's doing it. You got your business channel as well, plus your guest is like, I guess what I'm trying to say, like, you're going to have those two as well separate.
Well, in terms of format, again, I think my strength is the ability to tease out information from people a little more than they want to give. So I envision always having a guest format or a co-host. So in terms of format, I don't see myself like flying solo. I wouldn't want to look at me for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Let alone somebody else. You know what I mean? So I think my strength is in that. So I definitely want a format that has guests. But I might do like clips and stuff. Where in the clips and stuff, I might do like business clips, business advice, marketing advice. But I still want to, even in my own. I'm in a weird spot, Thomas, where I'm a lot respectfully. I'm very happy where I am in terms of relative basis, meaning relative to a lot of other people. I do earn good money, and I do well, but on an absolute basis, I could do so much better, So it sounds weird, but I kind of want to do even a little better to be a guru in business, a guru in marketing, even a little better. So it's not just because I have more zeros in the bank, or even more accomplishments. It's just that I want to really, really, really make it. So when somebody looks at me, like, you know what? I know he knows his stuff. Whereas right now, I believe I know what I need to do, but I feel like I need to execute more. I don't want to be full of shit. You know what I mean? So for that end, I do give marketing advice. I do give some business advice, but I still do hold off on being like an expert in that area.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When I was looking you up, I was just like, man, you into everything. Like,
I've done a lot of things.
It's pretty cool.
Right on some, wrong on many.
Yeah. What advice would you have to someone starting their own business like you?
Plan on fucking up. It's going to happen. So get over it when it happens. Number 2, get the right people on the bus. And when they start to feel wrong, get rid of them. If they're on the fence, they need to improve or remove them. That's it.
Yeah. Sounds like a pretty good team's important.
That's everything.
And what's your top 3 favorite books?
Ooh, great question. Great by Choice by Jim Collins is one of my favorite, probably one of the favorites. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Trying to get him on as well.
That'd be awesome.
And my all-time favorite book. Ooh, this is a good one. Let me think. All-time favorite books. There's so many that I need to see which one was like all-time, like blew me out of the water. I think for a second. Sorry, guys. There's like 4 questions. I haven't read a lot of books. I probably read like 200 books. I got to see which one. Men of Honor by Tommaso Buscetta.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Have you read the 50th Law by Robert Greene? He done like one with 50 Cent, and they called it.
Oh yeah, I skimmed through it. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I got the Laws of Nature, or whatever, the newer one with him.
Yeah.
I'm in the I got so many books right now that I got Audible. I'm gonna probably start doing more Audible. So I'm behind I'm like 6 books behind right now because all the interviews, I'm getting a lot of authors. Yeah. And believe it or not, Thomas, I don't read their book typically before I interview them for a reason. I want it to be a naive discussion to their experience. So as a result, I have like 6 books that I need to, and I buy the books. I very rarely ask for galley copies. I like to support the guests who support me by giving me their time. And I'm a little behind on my books right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's hard to find time. That's why I love Audible too. You can like just listen to it wherever. So I've only just come across that really.
Correct.
What else do you have planned in terms of like, I guess, your business side of things? I
want to master media.
Yeah.
For the level that we're at. So we own New Jersey Digest, which is a local magazine in Jersey. I want to be like the go-to resource for anybody in New Jersey when it comes to lifestyle. And the podcasting space, I want to quietly take over. So I'm saying it, so I guess people are going to hear it, but just really get a good, meaningful followership and build something special. And I do want to commercial and monetize it right now. I'm bleeding money between guest acquisition and other stuff, but it's part of a greater plan. And we're putting out some premium content that nobody else is doing. And we're pretty proud of it. We think it'll pay off in the long run. Yeah,
for sure. Who's someone that you really, that you'd love to have like your top person?
I'm getting Mark Cuban. Like he just says, keep checking in, and hoping one time to get it right.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'd be cool if you got him and Patrick as well. Like, at the same time, that'd be awesome.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. Have you had any? What's the worst? I guess not the worst thing that's happened to you in a business, but the best lesson you've learned on your journey.
I had a situation, and I'm starting to talk about it a little bit. I talked about it on another podcast. I had a situation where I got fronted a lot of money, 6 figures, well over 6 figures, well into the 6 figures. And I didn't put a plan in place. I didn't put good tracking. I didn't put good controls. And I burned through the money, and I wasn't able to kind of get credit for spending against the scope of work. So as a result, I took like $150,000 personal hit in 1 year out of pocket. So it's have proper controls, have a proper plan, have a signed contract, and again, have the right people. When they start to feel wrong, just get rid of them if it's not right.
Yeah. And did it take you a long time to recover from that, or you just learned and moved on?
Yeah, it took probably financially 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And then emotionally, I'm still kind of a little beat up from it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It looks like you're like doing a lot of good stuff now, though.
And I have a lot of irons in the fire. I'm very diversified, which helped during the pandemic. New Jersey Digest is the lifeblood is ad sales. That dried up overnight. So we had a small marketing boutique agency with a lot of retainers, and they were in areas that weren't affected by the pandemic, actually grew. So those retainers kind of kept us afloat. We did get some PPP money, which was good, but for the most part, it worked out.
Yeah. And what music do you listen to? Another question I wanted to ask you, like your top
mostly
3.
Hip-hop. Mostly hip-hop.
That's awesome. Who's your top 3 artists?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Well, 1 non-hip-hop, 2 hip-hop. Non-hip-hop, U2, number 3. Hip-hop, I gotta think. Well, I used to like House of Pain back in the day, but and Cypress Hill back in the day. So I'll go with Cypress Hill, number 2. I actually met them, which is pretty cool. I was on stage moshing with them. Wow. That was pretty cool. And then number 1 of all time, either Eminem or Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, well, good choices, man. Yeah, I love both of those. Have you ever seen Eminem live?
No, I've not. I wish I did. I don't
Yeah,
think he comes around as much anymore.
yeah, it's a bit too big now. Um, if who's been, I guess, like what's been the biggest challenge of setting up your podcast?
Just the different machinations. You need to have a camera that's not blurry. You need to get an editor eventually, or go live to tape. I try to do live to tape because oh, there we go, to try to keep it genuine.
That's,
Get it distributed, make sure enough people see it.
yeah,
When to do paid advertising, it's like some of these people are like, "Ooh, paid advertising is bad. You didn't do it organically." No, if you have a business, you're not going to market it. You're not going to advertise your business. So where and when to use paid media. I try to leverage earned media, so try to get like placements in different newspapers and periodicals.
yeah.
So it all depends.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's something I want to learn more about too. Like yeah, I guess marketing, where to advertise, sort of stuff, because it's hard to find out.
Correct.
If you could co-write a book with one person, um, like who's alive now, who would you write one with?
It's a great question. Damon John on Shark Tank, because I read his book, The Power of Broke.
Yeah,
So I'd love to co-author from him. So now that he's successful, coming from a humble background, kind of where he is now, how he got there, so he could teach me how to get there.
yeah,
And then also he's great at branding, and that's something area that I want to improve on.
yeah, for sure. Who's someone that you'd love to have like work with? Like,
As a client, we
yeah,
haven't yet. We'd love to take on a big brand, a national brand. We have one group that we're growing nationally, a service-based business, but I wouldn't mind a national brand that has like an e-commerce presence. That would be exciting.
yeah, that'd be awesome. And so, if another one, if you had to have one full time, you could choose anyone to co-host with you for your show, who would you pick? Can be anyone in the world.
I would love Patrick Bet-David, his questions and his style and or Vlad. I actually like Vlad. I know a lot of people don't, but I think
Yeah,
Vlad TV is another class act. I'm a
I
big
don't
fan of his.
understand why he gets so much hate. Like, I think he does it great. I love him.
Yeah, I like him. I love him a lot as well.
Yeah, he gets some awesome guests as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I love his style. That's good answers, man. Another thing I was got asked. Do you do all like your own designs and stuff, or do you have like a team?
I have a full-time designer who came up
Yeah,
with this and other concepts. She's
yeah, that's
amazing.
cool.
Check out our store, Armchair MBA store. Their custom designs are amazing. Her name is Christine. She's one of the best.
Yeah, and could you give us? Are you able to give us a sneak peek of any upcoming guests you got, or is it?
No comment. I got out of the business of sharing guests.
Yeah,
In the space that I'm in, and Thomas, just don't get involved.
yeah,
There's a lot of drama in a certain space and certain segment of this mob genre. And I unfortunately got embroiled in it because I guess I had thinner skin. People would roast me or say bad things about me. So I felt the need to kind of jump in and attack and defend myself. So I kind of got embroiled in stuff that I didn't want to. So as a result, when I being normal, saying, "Hey, here's some of the guests that I have," they would
yeah.
reach out to some of these guests. People would actually reach out to some of these guests and try to dissuade them to come on my show, like real vapid
Wow.
pieces of shit. Like you don't mess with a man's livelihood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as a result, I just have a strict policy of just not mentioning any forward guests.
Nah, that's cool. It's good to have the surprise anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks that happens, man. I didn't know that was going on.
Crazy stuff, but it does happen.
Yeah, I see a lot of people come on your live before. Is it like as soon as you came on, everyone just started like hitting?
Yeah, it depends. So yesterday we had a pretty good one.
Yeah,
A little 100-some people on the MBA, 200-something on the Mobsters Inc. I acquired Mobsters. I get no credit for growing that. I acquired it It has about 32,000 subs. It's just that it's not used to lives.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot of overseas people that are actually like normal. And when I bought the channel, this is part of the reason why I bought the channel, was I did a little survey when I had access to the channel, but didn't buy it yet. I said, do you know these 3 content creators that were in the space that were colleagues of mine, me and 2 colleagues? Or do you not know who the hell these guys are? And 2/3 didn't know me or my 2 colleagues. So I wanted that. So I was like, wow, these guys don't know who I am. This is perfect. So people are still feeling me out. People are still feeling out the channel and the content. And we got rejected from monetization, so we need to reapply. So we'll clean it up a little bit. But once we're monetized, we're launching pretty heavy.
Damn, I thought you'd be monetized quite easily.
No, because the channel grew. George, who runs the channel and runs now Armchair, he's a growth hacker.
Yeah.
And growth hackers tend to respectfully use shorts and other people's content to get the subs and the views. So when you go to get monetization, it needs to be original content, which I knew. I went eyes wide open. So I just didn't create enough original content. So I'm catching up now by doing some lives and so forth. And then hopefully we'll be monetized soon.
Yeah, that's awesome. I recently had a thing on Facebook, at the Reels.
Yeah.
And I was only putting like clips of like interviews I've done on there, and Facebook invited me to get monetized for it or whatever, just for these Reels. And within 24 hours, they're like, no, it's not original content, and shut it down. It was my own interviews.
Yep. So that's why I create as much original content as you can, own the content. Listen, when people use it without telling you, try to give them a chance. Say, listen, man, I don't want to strike you, but you got to take that down, or at least attribute. I don't like striking, but I also try to be protective of my IP. So, so it all depends on a case-by-case basis,
Yeah, no, for sure. It's hard. It's good to talk to different people like you and see you have like some of the same issues as well. And but yeah, you're like on the next level. I don't know how you keep on top of everything. You got so many different things going on.
We still have a long way to go. But we're not afraid to put in the work to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's like real impressive.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you have any other, like, I guess, what would be the best life advice you've ever gotten off someone?
Well, be there for your family, because you never know, what's going to happen. And between now and then, kiss your mother goodbye, kiss your wife goodbye, hold your kid a little longer than you need to, and just really be present and take it day by day and just really be present. So if you were to die tomorrow, you'd say, you know what, I was all in and I was present, I was there, versus having regrets that, you know what, I don't know, people on their deathbed ever said, hey, I wanted to work more, or I wanted X, Y, and Z out of life. So just really be present is my advice.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. And it's been cool talking to you, man. And
absolutely,
I've been excited to talk to you all week. I did see with the invitation I sent, I did send it to the wrong email too. And I checked again. I was like, I just definitely tonight. So I had to quickly send it again.
No worries. And I apologize, guys. I was doing a live because it's obviously pre-recorded. I was doing a live, and I had Thomas on my calendar, but I wanted to do kind of a little short thing on Gotti versus Castellano, who was a better leader. And I was going to do a pre-record, but like, screw it, let me do it live. And then, of course, when you do it live, it goes off the rails. So Thomas politely came on and gave me the hook. So, but it worked out, and I'm happy to be here. And it's an honor to be on your show.
It's an honor, man. It's an honor to have you. And just for my viewers, who do you think, Gotti or Castellano?
You have to watch. You got to watch the show.
I'll send him over. I'm going to put all your links on here too.
Put a link to that show specifically. And there's a very interesting twist at the end, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for anyone.
And check out the Armchair MBA. Check out Mobsters Inc. And if you're in the States and on the East Coast, check out New Jersey Digest magazine.
Sure, man. I'll have to visit you one day when I'm over there.
Absolutely. We'd love to meet up with you. Me for nice. I don't know if you smoke cigars.
Yeah,
Or
I
a nice
know.
scotch, be nice, or a bourbon, be fantastic.
Perfect. Talk to you, and I'll send you the link once it's up.
Please do, and I'll promote it to my people. And for new people that are new to me, please check me out. Give it a chance. If it's not your cup of tea, totally understand. You can even leave some comments. But if you're interested in business or business of the underworld, right now we think we're your guys, and appreciate being on the show.
Definitely. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you.
All right, Thomas. Thank you so much. Be well. Ciao.
Catch
Ciao.
me.